Your teen requested a ride, but this time not from you. It's through their Uber teen account. You drive your teenager around, a lot, to their friend Jacob's house, their other friend Jake's house, to James's, to Jaden's, to Jalen's, to...
Mom? This is Jake's house, not Jacob's.
Now with an Uber teen account, your teen can request a ride under your supervision. They'll ride with a highly rated driver, and with live trip tracking, you'll follow along the whole ride to their friends' houses that all sound the same. Add your teen to your Uber account today. See app for details.
Bye, Mom.
This episode is brought to you by Indeed. We're driven by the search for better, but when it comes to hiring, the best way to search for a candidate isn't to search at all. Don't search, match with Indeed. Use Indeed for scheduling, screening, and messaging so you can connect with candidates faster. Listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/SBO. Terms and conditions apply.
The NFL season is finally here, so make sure you're ready with NFL Sunday Ticket and YouTube TV. It gives you the most live NFL games all in one place, exactly what you need to make your Sundays more magical. Sign up today at youtube.com/Sunday Ticket. Local and national games on YouTube TV. NFL Sunday Ticket for out-of-market games excludes digital-only games.
Hey, dude, have you tried Hey Dude? These shoes are so comfy. They'll make your feet feel like they're floating on clouds. Slip them on and off with ease, and you'll be out of the door in no time. And they're a dream to come home to after work, a workout, or a casual day on the couch. Hey Dude shoes. Shoes so comfortable, you'll say, dude! Find yours at heydudeshoes.com.
Welcome back to Rams Up, your favorite LA Rams podcast. We are part of the Fans First Sports Network. You can follow us on our YouTube channel as well at LA Rams Up. I'm your host, Mark. I'll be joined occasionally by my football gurus, Paul and Ian. Let's get to it. Welcome back, Ram fans. Episode 537 of Rams Up. We're going to get to our loop around the league. First, some notes on this Rams 49ers game. How many of you Ram fans were dancing and drinking late into the night? Man, that was just a great win. How many of you spent an hour on Twitter watching videos of 49er fans crying at the end of that game and filing out of the stadium? Just brings a certain kind of joy to us, doesn't it? I did want to mention one thing that I kind of sort of got wrong. I mentioned Jared Verse, wasn't sure what kind of game he had. I know Byron Young was flashing all game long. And then some videos emerged and some stats, and our entire defensive line had a really good night. Despite blitzing only 15.8% of the time, the sixth lowest total of any game this season, the Rams brought pressure 47.4 times, 27 pressures by first and second year players on this Rams team. Man, does that bode well for this team. And then Brian Baldinger, you got to check him out on Twitter. He had some tape of Jared Verse and the other guys bringing it, relentless pressure, relentless playing style. It was really good to see. And so I'm just going to come clean here. Haven't seen any Pro Football Focus grades. Haven't heard back from Ian or Paul on their film studies. But Jared Verse had a very good game right alongside Byron Young, as did Braden Fisk and Kobe Turner, and Tyler Davis stepping it up a little bit too. This is a really good sign for this defense. And we go to Chicago next week, and they have issues on their offensive line. Going to be a fun game. One of these days, this defensive line is just going to crash through the wall and rack up 5 or 6 sacks. You heard it here first. And I will tell you this, our young guys had better games than Nick Bosa and Leonard Floyd. That I am sure of. Hey, I wanted to talk about a comment Eric Dickerson made on talk radio Monday morning, LA area talk radio, and love Eric Dickerson, loved him as a player. I love how passionate he is about our Los Angeles Rams, and typically I agree with him 100%. Still have that holiday greeting from him that my daughter sent. Pretty cool. Now, he made a comment that I'm going to take minor issue with, and he was commending the Rams coaching staff because the Rams down 14-0, down 10 in the second half. They kept on playing hard. They kept at it. And same thing against the Cardinals when they were down big. Never let up. And I'm just going to say, I don't think it's so much the coaching staff. I think it's the players the Rams identify in the draft, the type of character and personalities they look for in the draft. Are these guys fit to be Rams? Are they guys we want in our locker room? And hey, Ram fans, we all know this. Ram players do not take a play off ever. Very, very rare, extremely rare, as opposed to, hey, there are some comments on Twitter from 49er fans and content creators taking the issue with the level of effort by some 49ers, and we've seen it across other franchises too. The Raiders coach calling out his team for making business decisions. So I don't know, it's so much the coaching day-to-day, probably has a little bit to do with it, but I think these guys arrive day one as players the Rams have identified are going to give it a go, fit in this locker room, play hard every snap, kind of like Aaron Donald did, right? And we have that, we see that in this current crop of Rams, last couple of drafts, a bunch of guys that fit this culture perfectly. I don't know how much prodding they need on a day-to-day basis or on the sideline to go out there and keep playing hard. I think it's just in their nature. Now, a couple final words on this game. I did not go back and watch all the game film. I did, however, go back and watch the last 12 minutes or so for the most part, and a few final comments. How big was that play by Troy Reeder? You know, we bang on him a little much, don't we, Ram fans? But that 3rd and 1 play, the tackle at the Rams' 13-yard line, I think it was, about 12 minutes left, forced the 49ers to settle for the field goal, made it 24-14. That was a really big play. If the 49ers go up 2 touchdowns there, I'm not so sure. But the way this game went, anything was possible. And a couple other things. The Rams ran a trick play, a wide receiver pass, and I don't have the data in front of me. I could not find it, but this is not the Rams' forte. This is not something the Rams turn to very often. I think Sean McVay is much more comfortable just getting the ball to his great players, scheming things up, and beating teams with just your normal offense. Trick plays, really unnecessary, but the Rams pulled one off. It actually didn't work, but it was still pretty cool. Well, it did work, but DeMarcus just couldn't hang on to the ball. And I also have to mention, didn't talk about it enough, our 2 tight ends, Hunter Long and Colby Parkinson, contributed big time in the run game, especially on that 4th and 1. They were both key on that play. They both had a really big game, and it wasn't about stats. It wasn't about lighting it up with receptions. It was getting that 12 personnel running game going, so shout out to them as well. And how big was the hold on Juszczyk, man? 49er fans love this guy. You know what? He's a cool player and all, but I'm sure glad our Rams don't turn to a fullback. I think we tried it with Ben Skowronek briefly. Not our jam. Not something Sean McVay is interested in. Not when you got guys like Jordan Whittington and Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp and tight ends like we have that can block like heck. No need for a fullback. And I hear 49er fans were upset about Mark Sanchez making a Willie Mays reference on Tutu's catch. Are you kidding me? I think I actually missed that, but then I heard they were spun up about it, went back and looked, and you know what? It did remind me a little bit of Vic Wirt's drive at the Polo Grounds. If you young fans don't know what I'm talking about, just look it up. Willie Mays, the catch, World Series, Giants, Indians, I don't know what year it was, at the Polo Grounds. One of the greatest catches in World Series history. And Tutu's catch was reminiscent of that. And cool story about Xavier Smith is out. He got called up from the practice squad, let his mom know she flew out from Florida, and she's flying home with a game ball. Pretty cool. Now, I don't know what was going on there with Cam Kinchens and Brandon Ayuk. I suspect something must have happened earlier in the game. Kinchens laid him out, and he took a nice clean shot at Ayuk on that last play of the game. Maybe a little unnecessary, but in the heat of battle, that stuff happens. It was a clean hit, wasn't a dirty hit, maybe a little unnecessary. But then when Kinchens got up, he made a point of kind of celebrating in Ayuk's face. Might have kind of caught him with a forearm as well, and I think that's what set Ayuk off. But you know what? The history between these two teams, 49er players and fans can't complain about stuff like that. We remember Fred Warner taking a shot at the back of Matthew Stafford's helmet. We remember just in this game, earlier in this game, the 49ers safety coming up and kneeing Kyren Williams in the head after the play was over. No call on either of those. So settle down, 49er fans. This one wasn't nearly as bad. I'm just wondering if there was some history, something happened earlier in the game, but I don't think Brandon Ayuk and Cam Kinchens like each other this morning. On the injury front, Rams came out unscathed, at least so far as I know at this point. Logan Brest did have an issue with a couple of his fingers during the game, kept him out a few snaps. Meanwhile, on the 49er front, Javon Hargraves out for the year with a torn tricep, and Christian McCaffrey headed to Germany for an expert's opinion on his lingering tendinitis. We'll be back in a second with our loop around the league.
Traveling to see your fave sports team is cool, but traveling with Amex Platinum for the big game is even better.
Right this way.
With access to dedicated card member entrances at select events, you can skip the line.
And one.
And with access to the Centurion Lounge,
He shoots a three.
you can catch the next game on the way home. That's the powerful backing of American Express. Terms apply. Learn more at americanexpress.com/withAmex. Card member entrance access not limited to Amex Platinum Card.
This episode is brought to you by Indeed. We're driven by the search for better, but when it comes to hiring, the best way to search for a candidate isn't to search at all. Don't search, match with Indeed. Use Indeed for scheduling, screening, and messaging so you can connect with candidates faster. Listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/SBO. Terms and conditions apply.
So what's it like to buy your first cryptocurrency on Kraken? Well, let's say I'm at a food truck I've never tried before. Am I gonna go all in on the loaded taco? No, sir. I'm keeping it simple, starting small. That's trading on Kraken. Pick from over 190 assets and start with the $10 in your pocket. Easy. Go to Kraken.com and see what crypto can be. Not investment advice. Crypto trading involves risk of loss. Cryptocurrency services are provided to U.S. and U.S. territory customers by Payward Interactive Inc., PWI, DBA Kraken. View PWI's disclosures at kraken.com/legal/disclosures.
This episode is brought to you by Jira. Ever wonder how those big marketing campaigns that make headlines get delivered on time? It all starts with Jira, the only project management tool you need to plan and track work across any team. Every step of that campaign is organised in one place, from launching the campaign all the way back to designing ads and writing creative briefs. Get started on your next big marketing campaign idea today in Jira.
Let's get into our loop around the league. Week 3 check-in on all the games. Thursday night, the Jets improved to 2-1 with a 24-3 win over the Patriots. Aaron Rodgers, he really looked like his old self, didn't he? 281 yards passing and a TD. Extended plays. He looked like the real deal once again. Jets could be in pretty good shape moving forward. Awkward hug, non-hug there with Robert Saleh. That was awkward. The explanation I heard was Rodgers basically sending Saleh a message, no time to celebrate, our work here isn't done. I'm not buying it. Rodgers, great quarterback, kind of an odd dude though, in my opinion. So the Patriots fall to 1-2. Jets ended up with 7 sacks total. Drake May came in at the end there and got his first NFL action. 4 for 8 for 22 yards. At the end there, garbage time, he took 2 of those 7 sacks. Sunday morning, Giants 21, Browns 15, 2 teams that I'm not even going to try to figure out. But one thing we did learn, Malik Nabers, the Giants rookie wide receiver out of LSU, is the real deal. 8 catches for 78 yards and 2 TDs. Giants held the Browns to 69 yards rushing. By the way, both Browns touchdowns scored by Amari Cooper. Seems like that guy's been around for a generation. You know, we're always aware of the Rams injuries, and we know the things they're dealing with, and sometimes fans from other teams don't have the awareness of that and just see a loss and think the Rams kind of suck. And the Browns kind of dealing with some stuff too. They lost 3 offensive linemen and could not overcome that. I'm going to share a pet peeve about this game. Malik Nabers made a really big play. Daniel Jones, a bad decision, throws a pass deep in Giants territory. Would have been an interception, but Malik Nabers broke it up, and Brian Daboll, the Giants coach, said something to the effect of, for him to have the awareness to knock that ball down tells me all I need to know about my wide receiver. Really? I mean, I hear this all the time. It's just common sense football. A ball's about to be intercepted and you're the receiver. Yeah, you go knock it down. I don't think that warrants any kind of special applause from the sideline for a wide receiver doing what makes perfect sense. But whatever. Daniel Jones, 17 of 19 in the first half. Giants led 21-7 at halftime. And the only reason the Browns scored at all is because the Giants fumbled the opening kickoff and a short field Giants 24-yard line. They got their only score of the first half. Both teams come out of this game 1-2. Giants, I think it's going to be a long season for them. Big road win for sure. Browns, I don't know, in the same division as the 3-0 Steelers and the Ravens, who you know are going to come roaring back. This is a game the Browns really needed to win. These are the types of games that you need to win at home against a mediocre opponent. Find a way. Browns couldn't get it done. The Packers improved to 2-1 with a 30-14 win over the Titans, a big road win. Malik Willis leads the Packers, and remember, the Titans are the team that traded him away, helping the Packers out, and man, it has lined up perfectly for Willis and the Packers. Willis, very efficient, 13 of 19 for 202 yards and a TD, also ran for 73 yards and a TD against his old team, and the quarterback that Titans favored over Willis, Will Levis, threw 2 more interceptions. Not sure how much of that is on him, his coach defending him, saying his team needs to play better around him. And maybe he's right. The Titans' run game, 11 carries for 33 yards, apparently abandoned the run pretty early. Well, the Colts may have saved their season. 21-16 over the Bears, another 2 teams that come out of week 3 with 1-2 records. Caleb Williams gets his first touchdown pass to Rome Odunze, his first touchdown catch. Odunze, 112 yards receiving. The Colts' Jonathan Taylor, 110 yards rushing and 2 TDs. You know, the Colts over the first 2 weeks were gashed horribly by the run. Their defense was just not holding up at all. So what did the Bears do? Well, they didn't run a lot, couldn't get the run game going when they did, finished with 28 rushes for 63 yards. Rams get the Bears next week, and there's 2 data points that are kind of promising for the Rams. They might be able to actually slow down the Bears' running game, and good Bears defense, but Rams should be able to get the running game going. So I guess the Vikings are for real. They beat the Texans 34-7. What the heck? They destroy my AFC Super Bowl pick. Man, the NFC North is coming alive. Packers, Lions, Vikings all looking good. The Vikings have outscored their opponents 85-30 over the first 3 games. Sam Darnold, 4 TDs. Titans didn't score until there was 3:56 left in the third quarter, and that was Cam Akers scoring, by the way. Vikings 6-0 all-time against the Texans now. Can never figure those stats out. Pretty odd. Both the Eagles and the Saints 2-1 after that crazy ending in New Orleans. Eagles 15, Saints 12. And it looked like the Saints had it in the bag. And then Dallas Goedert runs this underneath crossing pattern. Couple Saints run into each other. Another one gets caught up in the muck. And Dallas Goedert goes off for the big run. Saquon Barkley finishes the deal. Is Saquon Barkley the fantasy football MVP at this point? He's on my team. Just seems that way. Big win for the Eagles. Steelers 20, Chargers 10. The Steelers have given up 26 points on the season, and I saw a power ranking this morning. They've already soared to number 2 in this one ranking. I'm not feeling it yet for the Steelers. They kind of got lucky in this game. Justin Herbert goes out, and it was kind of all over for the Chargers. I had this game on in the background, and Steelers finished with 114 yards rushing. It looked like a lot more to me. Maybe it was just at the end of the game. Chargers could not get off the field. Najee Harris just gashing them over and over again. Steelers 3-0, Chargers 2-1. I feel like the Chargers are the better team, to be honest with you. You go on the road and you lose a game after losing your quarterback. But Justin Herbert seems like he gets dinged up a lot. And in this league, going to a backup quarterback on the road against a decent team like the Steelers, not a good recipe. Now, I'm not ready to elevate the Steelers that much. I mean, come on, they've beat the Falcons, Broncos, and then the Chargers at home. They obviously have to break into my top 12 this coming week, but they're not in my top 5 or 6. I don't care what their record is. Another result most of us did not see coming. The Broncos 26, the Bucks 7, and that was in Tampa Bay. Bo Nix had a very efficient game, 25 for 36. Still looking for his first passing touchdown. He did run for a score. The Broncos got to Baker Mayfield 7 times. Bucks offense held to 223 yards. This is actually a good result for the Rams. Anytime an AFC team can knock off a supposed NFC contender for a wild card spot, that's a good thing. So good result for the Rams. Probably a lot of really unhappy survivor football players out there, including me. The Raiders, man, coming off a win on the road against the Ravens. They come home, easy peasy, Panthers coming to town, and what happens? Andy Dalton leads the Panthers to the win. Throws for 319 yards and 3 TDs. Andy Dalton 4-0 in his career against the Raiders. Another strange stat. I assume all those games were with the Bengals. What does this mean for Bryce Young? But I don't know if it's fair to judge Bryce Young based on this result, on how Andy Dalton played. Andy Dalton is a seasoned veteran, good guy to have in the locker room, very polished quarterback, but still not a good look for Young. The Seahawks, another 3-0 team, they beat the Dolphins 24-3. Geno Smith to DK Metcalf for 71 yards. Zach Charbonnet, 2 touchdowns. Skylar Thompson in for Tua, got knocked out of the game. Tim Boyle took over. Dolphins got tons of weapons, but right now they do not have a quarterback. And the Seahawks, another team, got to give them credit, but they have beat the Broncos, Patriots, and then the Dolphins at home, the Dolphins without their starting quarterback. So I kind of put them in that category with the Steelers. Not really impressed yet, as opposed to the Vikings, another 3-0 team. Impressed with what they have done. The Ravens hold on to beat the Cowboys 28-25. Cowboys scored 19 points in the fourth quarter. Derrick Henry, 151 yards rushing and 2 TDs. So in the last 2 games, the Cowboys and their vaunted defense have given up 190 yards rushing to the Saints and then 274 to the Ravens. So that's right. The Cowboys, Ravens, 49ers, and Dolphins all 1-2, along with our Rams. The Lions beat the Cardinals 20-13. Goff was hot, completed his first 14 passes. Lions had a nice trick play. Amon St. Brown lateraling to Jamar Gibbs for a 20-yard touchdown. And then the Chiefs beat the Falcons 22-17. I feel like the Chiefs are really the only legitimate team at 3-0. Falcons led 14-13 at halftime and might have pulled that game off except for a missed PI in the end zone. And yes, that was pass interference. And yes, the Chiefs do seem to be beneficiaries of these calls, non-calls, more than most teams for whatever reason. 2 Monday night games. The Bills dismantled the Jags 47-10. Man, a lot of people were riding high on the Jags going into this season. Not me. Commanders, led by Jaden Daniels, put it on the Bengals 38-33. So where does that leave us? Well, we have 5 undefeated teams: the Bills, Steelers, Chiefs, Vikings, and Seahawks, and all of them except the Chiefs are a surprise to me. And we have 2 winless teams, both in the AFC, the Bengals and the Titans. And I'll throw in at the end here, just for fun, the old Pac-12, the legacy Pac-12 teams, a combined 28 wins and 11 losses. The only team with a losing record, the UCLA Bruins, at 1-2. And they have, I give them credit, traveled twice, 2 significant road trips, one to Hawaii and one to Louisiana. We'll be back with our power rankings and game picks later this week, as well as our Wednesday night, that's right, our Wednesday night roundtable with Ian and Paul. It's going to be a lot of fun. That's going to do it for this episode. Remember, you can reach us at ramsuppodcast@gmail.com. And don't forget about our YouTube channel. Our handle is at laramsup.com. Till next time, keep the horns up, stay safe, and have fun out there.
Lucky Land Slots, asking people, what's the weirdest place you've gotten lucky?
Lucky? In line at the deli, I guess?
Aha, in my dentist's office. More than once, actually.
Do I have to say?
Yes, you do.
In the car before my kids' PTA meeting.
Really?
Yes.
Excuse me, what's the weirdest place you've gotten lucky?
I never win and tell.
Well, there you have it. You can get lucky anywhere, playing at LuckyLandSlots.com. Play for free right now. Are you feeling lucky? No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 18+. Terms and conditions apply.